Good morning and welcome to Korea Today.
North Korea accepts China's advice, saying it is willing to start talks with all relevant parties. Will the Chinese leader meet with North Korea's special envoy?
And will Japan's Osaka mayor offer an apology to Korea's wartime sexual slavery victims? Details just ahead. And in finance news, across the seas, Japan's Nikkei tumbled 7% yesterday. The papers have it covered on In Print.
Well, it's been unusually warm here in Korea for the past few days, but does that mean that the summer will be unusually hot this year? I have the answer to that still ahead.
Bold and daring is the way to go this summer with unique bracelets, rings, and necklaces. We look at some of the hottest and the biggest summer accessories. And college festivals are underway across the country. Matthew Chung takes you to campuses teeming with food, fun, and plenty of people with school and kwa, or class spirit, on Friday, May 24th, 2013.
From Arirang News, this is Korea Today.
It's Friday and you're watching Korea Today. I'm Kim In-jung.
And I am Young Kim. Good morning. The Russian government has strongly criticized comments made by Osaka Mayor Toru Hashimoto, and they expressed concerns that the Japanese politicians are trying to resurrect a distorted view of history regarding Japan and the events of World War II.
That's right. And following a word of warning by the UN Committee on Economic, Cultural, and Social Rights, another UN affiliate, United Nations Convention Against Torture, has defined Japan's past military sexual slavery as torture and is advising that the Japanese government educate its citizens about this issue by including this in the textbook. So the international community seems to be coming together in voicing this very strong opinion.
Yes.
All right, Na Young-kyung has related news and more in our headlines today.
So will there be an apology? Two Korean wartime sexual slavery victims will meet with Japan's Osaka Mayor Toru Hashimoto on Friday. Hashimoto is Japan's right-wing lawmaker who said sexual slavery was a necessity to keep Japanese soldiers in line during war times.
He is well able to spin his logic as a lawyer. I don't expect him to listen to the victims with sincerity. He's not the kind of person who will change even after meeting with the victims, so it's up to the Japanese voters to hold him accountable.
The two sides are scheduled to meet at Hashimoto's Osaka office in Japan around 11 a.m. for 30 minutes. It will be an open meeting, but some analysts say the mayor will only use this event as a political stunt to fight back the criticism against him and his right-wing Japan Restoration Party. After months of launching threats and provocations, North Korea may finally be ready for talks. Reports coming out of China say Pyongyang's special envoy to China, Choi Ryong-hae, has expressed North Korea's willingness to engage in talks with quote-unquote relevant parties. Choi added the high delegation meeting was sent by North Korean leader Kim Jong-un to improve and develop ties between the two nations. With that, attention is being drawn to whether Choi will be able to meet with Chinese President Xi Jinping. Some reports earlier suggested that given the rough patch the two countries have gone through recently, Xi will not meet with Choi. The recent string of North Korean provocations prompted China to agree to an expansion of UN sanctions and cease trade with North Korea's Foreign Trade Bank. A second death from the so-called tick-borne virus has been confirmed in Korea. The Korea Centers for Disease Control and Prevention said Thursday a 73-year-old man who died on Korea's southern Jeju Island a week ago was found to have been infected with SFTS, or severe fever with thrombocytopenia syndrome. The victim was reportedly vomiting and suffering from high fever with diarrhea, common symptoms of the virus. The news comes after the first case of death by the virus was confirmed last week. Health authorities now say 2 additional suspected infections have been reported in other parts of the nation, bringing the number of suspicious infections up to 8. A group of Japanese scholars set foot on the Korea-controlled Dokdo Islets in the East Sea on Thursday. The group represents those who oppose Tokyo's sovereignty claim over the islets, which has long been a persistent source of tensions between the two countries.
The sovereignty over the Dokdo Islets is quite a controversial issue. But now that I'm here, I'm confident that the islets are indeed Korean territory. It's regrettable that the Japanese public thinks of Dokdo as Japan's territory and that Korea is illegally controlling the islets.
Now, although other Japanese scholars have visited Dokdo in the past, this is the first time that a group has backed Korea's sovereignty over the islets while being there. The group said in a press conference that Japan's claim to Dokdo is based on the nation's history of invading neighboring countries.
Happy Friday, everyone. The growing probe into CJ Group's alleged tax evasion scheme does pepper several of our front pages this morning, but we will go ahead and begin with news out of China just briefly, as covered by 동아일보. And the headline reads, Young-hae says North Korea open to dialogue with relevant states. And as you heard earlier, the delegation led by North Korea's number 3, Choi Young-hae, expressed that the state would welcome China's advice of advancing dialogue with relevant states. The paper says that this now focuses the attention on whether a watershed moment on the Korean peninsula is just around the corner. And here he is shaking the hand of China's number 5, Ryu Win-shin, and he told Ryu actually that North Korea hopes that involved countries will move together ahead toward peace and security on the peninsula, and also praised China's efforts toward that end. Meanwhile, in this country, prosecutors continue to probe through evidence of these case involving CJ Group as they build their case with testimonies and evidence against Korea's 14th largest conglomerate, CJ Group. And in fact, 동아일보 also has a side story on that, saying that the chairman, Lee Jae-hyun himself, met with Swiss bank UBS to discuss a secret account. And switching over to Jungang Daily, the headline reads, CJ purchased 23.4 billion won or $20.7 million US Tokyo building as a way to store hidden funds. So we are hearing bits and pieces of what investigators are pouring through right now. The article goes on to say that investigators have identified the building as belonging to Chairman Lee, though it was purchased under a borrowed name. They are pouring through financial transactions made by the many actors tied to the case, which also involves some 400 accounts under borrowed names. It adds that prosecutors have acquired a warrant to probe the personal accounts of Chairman Lee and his sister and vice chairwoman Lee Mi-kyung to trace the flow of the money, particularly the 5 billion won or $488 million US believed to make up the chairman's slush fund. So we'll leave that there and go ahead and scoot on over to actually Gyeongyang Shinmun now. We'll switch gears and take a look at another local issue taking place in the small South Gyeongsang Province city of Miryang. And the headline over here reads, push for Miryang transmission tower because of UAE nuclear project. As you can see, it is in quotes. Now, the Korean government and KEPCO, the country's power corporation, had been facing opposition from local civic groups on their plans to build above-ground transmission towers on fears for radioactivity. And the paper reports that KEPCO, which had warned of a power shortage if it does not push forward with the Shingori 3 project, is now saying that it has no choice to progress with the construction because of a $20 billion nuclear deal with the country inked with the United Arab Emirates. Now, a high-ranking
KEPCO official explains in the article that the Shinggori 3 project is a reference model for the Arab state, and under the established contract, Korea would have to cough up a penalty for breach of contract for every month that construction is postponed. And the article ends with a representative from a lawyers group questioning whether it is right for the country to ignore the concerns of its citizens worried about their safety and happiness. We will leave that there now and finally take a look at our business paper for today. Made Business newspaper has a story on the Nikkei tumble. Yesterday, headline reads quantitative easing backlash. Japan's stock market nosedives by 7%. And in fact, the inserted graph expresses that 7.3% dive, which ended at 14,483 yesterday. That is the Nikkei interrupting its upward climb recorded since the end of last month. Now, the drop marks the biggest fall since the Fukushima disaster, the article says, triggered by dampened investor sentiment from disappointing Chinese manufacturing data, as well as comments from U.S. Federal Reserve Chairman Ben Bernanke. But the article also poses the opinion that this shows the fundamental limits of the aggressive Abenomics strategy. The losses were also reflected in other Asian and European markets, while the won shed 14 points yesterday. And with that, that is your look at what's in print on this Friday morning. Here comes your market action from Thursday.
You know, you usually associate May with spring, but not this time. It's summer all the way.
That's right. Connie Lee is going to join us later on and give us more info about that, about the summer conditions coming in May, as well as what the summer holds. But for today's weather updates, Friday's weather updates, we'll go to Lee Dami, who's joining us from Goyang City in the Gyeonggi province. Good morning, Dami.
Good morning, everyone, and TGIF. Today I'm reporting live from Kintex, which is located in Ilsan, because I heard there's an exhibition that will be going on called the Good Game Show Korea 2013. But first things first, the weather. Now, I don't know about Seoul, but currently here in the areas of Ilsan, it's very foggy this morning. It's as if the clouds decided to take a visit here down to earth. It's very difficult to see anything from afar, so commuters, please be cautious on the roads. As for the current temperatures, it's about 16 degrees Celsius, warmer than yesterday, but it is slightly chilly. So I advise for those of you heading out this morning to carry around with you an extra thin jacket. Now later in the days, our highs will peak up all the way to the 30s, maybe even more in some areas of the peninsula. So I advise try not to stand directly under the sun for too long, especially during the peak hours, which starts from noon to 4 p.m. With that said, let's go ahead and take a look at the weather across the nation. Now here in Seoul and over in Daejeon, it will start out around the mid-teens and highs will rise to 29 and 30. Over in Daegu, highs will reach all the way up to 33. Conditions will look slightly milder down in Busan and Jeju as highs will rise to 25 and 26. Over the weekend, we'll see similar conditions to today, but even higher temperatures, so be ready for that. Next week, however, we have some good news as we can expect the temperatures to cool off, for we are forecast to see some rain around the beginning of next week. That's all for the weather. I'll be back in the latter half.
Still ahead with summer pretty much here in Korea. Do you have the right accessories to go with your perfect summer look? What's in style for hot summer accessories? We'll break it down for you if you stay tuned.
I'm starting to sound like a broken record player. It's not officially summer yet, but as you heard from our Tommy earlier, we are and will get some unusually hot weather conditions for late May. Our Connie Lee is here today to talk about the early summer heat. Good morning, Connie.
Right, good morning, Hyung Young. Well, even coming into work this morning, I already felt like today is going to be a hot one, like yesterday.
Yes.
Well, you know, the temperatures in Seoul yesterday reached 30 degrees
Almost
Celsius.
30 degrees Celsius,
right. And today, like Tommy said, it's supposed to be 29, and then same for the next 2 days. So I think we need to brace ourselves for a very hot weekend.
I'm not looking forward to the weekend.
Yeah. Well, summer is here early, about 2 to 3 weeks early, which is good news, I guess, for those who like the heat and humidity. But there are plenty of things to keep in mind with the higher temperatures fast approaching.
We're still in the month of May, but it sure feels like July or August here in Korea. Parasols and cold drinks in hand are already becoming common sights around the nation.
At midday, it was already 25 degrees Celsius here in Seoul, far surpassing the average of about 17 degrees for this time of year. And so far, this month's temperatures have averaged 18.2 degrees Celsius, which is actually the second highest for May since 1973.
At a media briefing on Thursday, the Korean Meteorological Administration announced that the nation can expect even hotter temperatures nationwide this summer.
In the summer months starting from June, the temperatures will be higher than average because of the influence of the North Pacific anticyclone. Even after the monsoon season in July, we can expect temperatures hovering around 33 degrees.
Before that stronger summer heat comes, some people are trying to enjoy the somewhat cooler weather while it lasts.
I just ate lunch here with my friends in the shade because the weather seemed nice. But when summer comes, I don't plan on doing this again because it's going to get hotter than this.
Even though it's not as hot as it's going to get, it's still warm enough these days that kids can be seen playing in the water fountains.
It's gotten so warm already, so I thought it would be nice for my kid to play in the fountain.
But for others, the heat is already too much to bear.
I've been taking a stroll around the park for about an hour, but now I'm going back indoors because it is already getting too hot.
Officials advise people to be prepared for the heat, as drastic weather changes can affect the body's health.
When the weather changes, the body uses a lot of energy to balance the body temperature, so the immune system could weaken. And when the body temperature rises, people need to be careful of dehydration and low blood pressure that can cause people to faint and even get heat stroke.
Dr. Sung Eun-ju of Gangbok Samsung Hospital advises people to take in between 2 and 4 liters of water daily. But the body needs more when there's sweating involved. Another thing to watch out for is food poisoning. Data from the Ministry of Food and Drug Safety show that in the past 11 years, 28,000 people got food poisoning in the months of May and June, more than double the amount of cases seen in July and August.
With a sudden rise in temperatures in the early months of summer, people are less careful about eating foods that were left out without being refrigerated.
So checking twice before eating those leftovers may be a very wise action. And so is drinking plenty of water, like the doctor said. And you know, the water can also come from your foods, such as fruits and vegetables.
Drinking lots of water. Why is it so hard to stick to that simple principle? I don't know, it's
Right,
hard
water,
for me,
pure
right?
water.
Right. But Korea actually, the early summer heat that we were talking about. So you have other measures that the government has to tackle the blackouts?
Well, right now, one of the things that is causing a lot of worry is the power supply here in Korea. And,
right, of course, the outages.
Right, and so there's a lot of worry that because of the rise in temperatures this early in May could actually cause the power to run out here in Korea. And as you know, Korea relies on 23 nuclear reactors, and half of its electricity needs come from them.
And we're not talking about brand new reactors. They are quite old.
Right, so that's another concern too. they're old, they're run down. And so actually a new government data shows that this year they predict that more power plants will shut down than last summer. And you can see the graph here that the experts predict that more of the plants will shut down in the June, July, August period.
And Korea has seen quite a number of blackouts in the past.
Right,
too.
yes. And so they are trying to prevent a nationwide blackout or power outage. And so actually the government announced earlier this week that they are considering slapping a surcharge to companies that use electricity during the peak hours. And they're also considering whether or not to mandate or enforce companies to either reduce the use of electricity, just so to prevent a nationwide blackout.
Right, and they do recommend to have maybe power shutdown during the hours of 11 and 1 p.m. So that's what we should be doing this summer as well.
And so they recommend, yes.
Right. All right, thank you very much, Connie, for that.
You're welcome.
And still ahead on Korea Today, festivities on college campuses are underway in Korea with lots of food and fun. We take you to some of these celebrations underway while Matthew Chung visits one of the festivals with his secret dish. Stay with us.
And as the weather heats up, the shorter sleeves are coming back into style once again, but you have to have the right accessories to go with them, as Min-jung has the right accessory right now. It looks
what do you
great.
think? What do you
I
think?
love it.
Yeah, well, this is the statement piece that encapsulates the spring and summer look as far as accessories are concerned. The key is to go flashier, funkier, and just bolder and fancier.
Well, bold is right there. Bold and flashy.
Remember, fancy, funky, and flashy.
All right, we'll take a look at this next video.
Make or break your wardrobe with fashion accessories. For the upcoming summer, bold and flashy accessories will add a new dimension to your look.
Last year, the minimal look was in style, so simple jewelry was very popular. But this year, colorful and eye-catching accessories using crystals seem to be more of the trend.
We show you some daring trends for this year's summer with unique jewelry. Necklaces are at the top of the list. Necklaces, which were traditionally used to spice up an outfit, have become an almost separate component when it comes to dressing up. They're evolving by the day. What's noticeable this season is the tighter fit of the necklace.
This year, bold necklaces are leading the trend. In terms of color, sparkling monotone colors were popular last year. But this year, vivid neon colors are expected to be hot in the market.
Necklaces adorned with colored gems, bell chains, and mixed stones, popular from last season, are still in style, richer in design, material, and color. How to best wear these necklaces?
I would like to recommend this necklace worn by actress Ko Jun-hee. This too has very bright neon colors. For something that you can wear year-round, there's also this pearl necklace, which you can wear regardless of what's in style. But it does have more of a bold look, so it actually works well with the upcoming trends.
Next up is bracelets, one of the favorites when it comes to summer. As the sleeves get shorter, add a little something to your wrists, and with this you can also make your arms look slimmer. This summer we are looking at a mixed batch of designs including studs, metal, gems, gold and pearls. Try mixing up gems and imitation diamonds or metal and leather to add some character to your bracelets.
Products that match up crystal with transparent PVC materials or metal accessories and the marine look with patterns like the one I'm wearing now will be in style.
But first thing that comes to mind with summer bracelets are bangles. The big-sized bangle bracelets are moved on from contemporary looks to more fun styles embellished with ribbons, flower-shaped stones, and abstract patterns. Pandora bracelets, easy to personalize, are also popular items. The demand for these bracelets, which can be made with hand-picked pendants, is growing fast among a lot of women. And there's also a blooming number of people making the Pandora bracelet from scratch.
Customers come here a lot because they can put together goods according to their own taste, and the prices are also affordable.
So don't forget to add some character to your bracelets this summer. Third up for summer accessories are the small but eye-catching rings. Look forward to rings with vibrant colors and unique designs. What stands out the most is the change in material. Breaking away from the conventional gold or silver rings, those made of other materials are in style. Rings made with silicone are hot and have been dubbed Kim-Il-sung rings after famous actors wore them on screen.
Last year was really, I would say, metallic, flat, gold, silver, whereas this year you have colors, volume, and tons of new materials such as acrylic, wood, fabric, rubber, silicone. That's really the big change.
What's fun about these is the mix of silicone and diamonds. This popular ring is out of the market in 19 colors with a 0.02 carat diamond and offers a classy look with some flair.
Very interesting matter about Due Punti is that it can serve as a way to actually enhance other accessories by bringing colors to your existing accessories, whether rings or whether bracelets. So it's a very friendly accessory. All by itself, if you want to wear it, you have two or three. You create a combination of 2 or 3 rings and bracelets, and by itself, it has its own life, I would say.
Daring and bold will lead the trend in summer accessories, but not to forget, too much can actually take away from your look. Balance is key.
내가 코란다면 택시처럼 와줄 수 있니 오빠가 출출하다 하면 요리해 줄 수 있니 쉴새 없이 떠는 눈물어 슬픈 추억아 그 옆에 더 끌리는 나쁜 여자 현실의 절망과 욕망 그 어디쯤 더 이상 물러날 수가 없는 여자 남들이 모르겠어
And it's time to catch up with all the entertainment news with Denny Hong joining us. Good morning, Denny.
Morning.
Morning. I like the bling. I like the necklace.
Thank you for noticing. I was waiting for that compliment.
Nice. It looks nice. Honestly, guys, I feel like we don't really have that much that we can wear to accessorize that much, except for like cufflinks and.
Here's one for you. Where did that come from?
It's like you're a magician. Where'd that come from?
That is a secret. I just pull things out of my.
Maybe later I'll try that. I don't think it matches with the general color scheme.
So what do you have for us
today? Actually, we have 2 separate stories. One of them, of course, being Psy. This past Sunday, he was awarded at the Billboard Music Awards. We kind of talk about that, as well as last night there was a Social Star Award, the very first one, last night over in Singapore. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that as well. But first, let's take a look at what he did over at the Billboard Music Awards last Sunday.
And another hot news this week is global star Psy, who is the first Korean singer to win a Billboard Award. Psy won Top Streaming Song Award for his international hit song Gangnam Style at this year's Billboard Music Awards, recently held in Las Vegas. The Top Streaming Award goes to the artist who receives the most hits on YouTube and social networking sites for their music videos. As of now, Gangnam Style has recorded 1.6 billion views on YouTube after being released last July. And here is Psy in a dance-off with Tracy Morgan at the awards, giving the audience a big laugh. Following Psy's Gangnam Style, his single Gentleman has so far been well received on the global stage. Psy also appeared on American Idol's season finale show, as well as Dancing with the Stars, to cheer on the finalists of the show. Psy continues to make his mark on the global stage. What can we expect next? His fans in Korea and overseas will be watching.
Well, apparently there were reports of a fake Psy making an appearance at the Cannes Film Festival.
Who looks nothing like Psy, I have to say.
Apparently, he was going to parties, taking photos with celebrities, and like even attending different events.
And with all this going on, Psy, the real Psy, was in Singapore.
Exactly, right? So actually, I think he did a shout out. He mentioned on like his own social networking sites that like if you see him, say hello for me, kind of thing. Right? So I think he's taking it in good humor, right? But when it comes to the most recent award, obviously last night, the Social Star Award is fairly recent, a few hours ago actually. I started watching the award for Aerosmith because they were the opening act, but then I stayed because of Psy at the end. He won 6 different awards, including the Game Changer Award, right? So this is the very first social networking or social media award that has been around actually. It's done by a group called Star Count. What they do is they basically just look at, they take the measuring of people's social media activities over like 1.7 billion people, and they rank individuals, not only TV shows, athletes, sports teams, and of course musicians, right? And so this is one of the things that happened. But also, we do have another story to get to, right? And today we're also going to be talking about the return of a lot of the top female artists and singers here in Korea as well.
Yay.
And so it's kind of a reversal of trends. More recently, I would say that's been more idol groups and men who've been dominating the charts. But as we saw on the dailies, Ihyori is on there twice.
Right.
That's right. So we got to talk about that as well.
The hottest entertainment news this week. We start off with female singers dominating the K-pop scene. From girl group 4 Minutes, sweeping up popularity with What's Your Name, to Secret's hit song Yoo-Hoo with its lively repetitive beats, they have it all. Also, 2NE1 recently announced her first single, 4 years after debuting, and K-pop queens such as Ihyori and Seo In-young are turning heads with their new albums. CL's first solo album is scheduled to release on the 28th, generating a lot of anticipation from her fans. Meanwhile, big names like Ihyori and Seo In-young, who are loved for their unrivaled songs and performances, have re-emerged on the K-pop scene. Unlike previous albums, the two singers are drawing attention by taking on different styles, breaking away from the sexy and sophisticated image they used to have. Ihyori has taken over K-pop charts by pre-releasing her song Miss Korea, and on the heels of that popularity, she put out her 5th album's title track, Bad Girls. And just a day before, Seo In-young released her mini-album's title track, Let's Break Up. Let's Break Up is a ballad song that pictures the pain and struggles of breaking up. Seo In-young brings her entire album to life with her explosive voice.
At a time when the K-pop scene is drawing so attention with its diversity, singers like Ihyori and Seo In-young will play an important role. That's because they're the only singers that can win-bridge the people in their 20s and 30s, and for this reason, they're seen as the leaders that can revive the market of female solo singers.
All eyes are now on how the return of the queens will set the future stage of K-pop.
The return of the queens. Ihyori is a queen. I mean, she's one of those few women who become more and more beautiful as she grows older. And she's matured as a performer,
right?
too.
And I think when it comes to the shelf life of celebrities, now, I hate to say it that way, but everyone has an expiration date, right, when it comes to...
Okay.
Well,
A bit harsh there.
No. What I mean, though, is that there are those that can obviously overcome that, too. Now, if you look at like the amount of artists that come out here in Korea, a lot of times they debut, they go away, but then there's those that have staying power, including, of course, Ihyori herself. How many years in the industry has she been maintaining her media presence? I mean, it's pretty crazy.
Right. She's not just a pretty face. She can dance, she can sing. She's a whole package. She's
Perfect body, too.
Right. She is perfect, I think.
A little jealousy there.
Not a little.
Crazy
Right.
But when it comes to her most recent album, this is her first album that she released in the past 3 years, actually. So I think she's been trying to figure out what exactly she wants to come out with next. Obviously, there is pressure, as any celebrity might have, to try to top their most previous success and to work on that as opposed to coming out with the new material constantly all the time. I think she was trying to refine the sound she was looking for, and obviously it's working for her. She has, again, 2 songs right now from her newest album that's coming out on the charts currently, right? So I would say for her it was probably a good thing to kind of wait those 3 years and to figure out what she wanted to do.
And what about CL's album that's going to be released on May 28th, I believe?
Yes, it's going to be next Tuesday, right? So this is actually going to be her first solo album, apart from 2NE1. And I think it's pretty safe to say that her album is going to be mostly kind of in the hip-hop vein, since she is one of the more well-established female rappers right now around. So I think we can expect that to kind of boost her sales of her songs using what people do know. And of course, I think it'd be fun to see a little bit more tougher edge in, I guess, the female music's like solo careers that we have there.
Well, she's had a close relationship with Will.i.am as well as some other American singers, so
That's right.
we'll be looking forward to her
so we'll
album
see.
like
Maybe
this.
there's some collaborations. We never know, right? But we can definitely look forward to it in the future.
It's great to see all these artists transform and bring K-pop to another level. Thank you very much, Denny.
That's right.
And
No
put
problem.
on that necklace now. As you head out.
I'll save this for later.
That's for your Friday night out. All right, thanks,
All
Denny.
right, thank you, Vinny.
No problem.
Well, it is slowly becoming a 2-horse race atop the KBO standings, with Nexon slightly ahead of Samsung. Let's call it a neck. Nexon wrapped up their series last night against Tucson, and they were looking for the sweep after a pair of lopsided victories already against the Bears. And as we pick it up over in Chamsil, Tucson get on the board first in this one. In the 5th, Chung So-bin slaps one the other way. That scores Oh-jae-won as Tucson take the early 1-0 lead. No Kyung-eun kept Nexon at bay through 6 2/3, but Oh Kyung-taek blows it in the 8th. Park Dong-won singles. That scores Yoo Jae-shin as he's easily safe at home. And you know what? We would go to extra innings on this one. Nexon actually deliberately loads the bases in the 11th as they walk Choi Ju-hwan to face Chung So-bin. That's right, the guy who drove in the run earlier in the game. He's hitting .350 on the year now after going 2 for 5 in this one, including the game-winning walk-off RBI. Now, Samsung could move back into first with a win against LG in the 6th. Lee Byung-gyu singles to tie the game up at 1. And then you're going to see one of the craziest things you'll ever see in professional baseball. Watch this. Kwon Young-won steals home while Lee Ji-young is throwing the ball back to the pitcher. Oh, no! Yeah, safe at home. Yeah, you know, I know everyone standing on third has probably thought about this at some point, but who actually tries this in professional baseball? LG would actually get back-to-back singles, including this one from Jung Hee-yoon, so Kwon probably would have scored anyways, although I guess you could say that he might have rattled the pitcher with that play. Regardless, LG win it 3-2. NC at SK, and Kwon Hee-dong leads off the second with a solo homer, his second of the season. as the Dinos tie the game up 1-1 in the second. NC would actually score 3 in that inning, and then in the 6th, NC add to their lead. Mo Chang-min going deep to left center, his first homer of the season. That's a solo shot. You know what? In the 8th, Mo liked it so much he does it again. His second of the season. He's now hitting .319 on the year, but more importantly, his Dinos beat SK 6-2. Hanwha at Kia. Kim Joo-hyung in his first game of the year, launching this one deep to left. That's the first first homer for him. Kia goes up 6-1 with that. In the 5th, Lee Bum-ho taking this one long gone. His 5th of the year, make it 7-1. He was 2 for 4 in the game, raising his average to .270. And then in the 6th, Kim Joo-hyung again. First game of the year, 2 homers. Gotta love that. He completes a 2 for 3 game with 3 runs and 3 RBI. That all coming in Kia's 10-2 victory. Over in Japan, Lee Dae-ho has yet to go hitless in 3 straight games, and he avoided that distinction once again as he went 2 for 4 yesterday in an 8-3 Oryx victory over Chunichi. Lee Dae-ho raising his average to .329 while ending a mini 2-game slump. Actually, I guess 2-game slump for him is actually quite a big deal. Im Chang-young, meanwhile, was originally planning to retire from baseball last year, and then suddenly he started getting interest from teams wanting him to bring his awkward sidearm heat to their team. And actually, a lot of those teams were major league ball clubs. He eventually signed with the Chicago Cubs last year and underwent his 2nd Tommy John surgery at the age of 36. And now he's preparing his return to the mound. And according to his agent, Im Chang-young has been throwing 50 to 70 pitches from the mound for his rehab recently. And once he builds up his strength and stamina, he will go on a minor league assignment and probably could join the Cubs perhaps as early as the All-Star, just after the All-Star break, if everything goes well. Korea is into the semifinals of badminton's Suriram Cup in Kuala Lumpur, which is a team competition of countries. Korea swept Germany 3-0 on victories by mixed doubles Ko Sung-hyun and Kim Ha-na, men's doubles Ko Sung-hyun and Lee Yong-dae, and Lee Dong-gun in men's singles. That is a best 3 out of 5. Korea meets Thailand on Saturday in the semifinals. And that is your look at sports. Remember to eat healthy and get some exercise today.
Thank you, Jason. And now Tommy has something for us that you might be interested in checking out this weekend.
Well, I'm going to be interested in this
game show exhibition.
All right, Good Game Show Korea. We'll go to Idami right now. Tommy, over to you.
I'm reporting live from Kintex located in Ilsan. This is where the Good Game Show Korea 2013 is taking place. Now here at the exhibition you can see a variety of different games, but what's interesting is that all the games here actually come from submissions from a public contest. So the ideas came from the winners from the contest are here on display now. Now, this year's show is made up of a variety of different exhibitions from education, psychology, health or medicine, 3D, virtual reality, robot education, and so much more. Now, here at the exhibition, main programs will be divided into 4 sections: display of games, services for exhibitors and businesses, conferences, and accompanying events. So, also the conferences are about what good games are, and people such as Charles P. Rose, former official from the U.S. Department of Education, and also a member of the MIT Media Lab, and other academics will gather for this meeting. Now, today, later at 2 p.m., Brazil's largest internet company, UOL's subsidiary, Boa Compra, and the Gyeonggi Province government will sign an agreement for contents distribution, opening the doors for Korean companies to enter the South American market. So here at Good Game Show Korea 2013, there are so many different games that people of all ages can enjoy. And it will go on starting today and a total of 3 days until this Sunday, the 26th. So if you have some time over the weekend, then you should definitely check it out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and enter the vault, which is a laser maze challenge. So wish me luck. I'll see everyone next Monday. Have a fantastic weekend. All right, come on. Ooh, okay. All right. Uh-oh. Ah! Oh my goodness.
The month of May is a fun month for college students, and our Matthew Chung came back after some mingling time looking younger.
With a suntan.
Yeah, I feel younger, and it always happens this time of the year. Even though I've been out of school for the better part of a decade, I somehow always feel a little bit more free this time of year, like summer vacation is about to come up.
Right.
And then I realize that I have no summer vacation, and then I get sad.
You're in the real world now.
I know, regardless though, being on those campuses, it was a real throwback. And even though these weren't schools I went to, I could understand that sort of camaraderie and the sort of like the joyous raucousness that came from these university festivals that happen this time of year. So all the exams are over and students are ready to have fun. So why don't we take a look and see what they pull off. So the month of May is a fantastic time here in Korea. The weather's amazing, there are a ton of holidays, and you have university festivals. These happen at the end of the school year, so all the students are done with exams, they're in a great mood. It's a really fun atmosphere with fun and games, got great food. So I don't know what we're doing here. Let's go have some fun. So at the heart of these university festivals are these booths and all the events, the shows that they put on. There's games, there's a ton of fantastic food. They're put together by different organizations, clubs, different departments. And speaking of food, I smell something delicious. I think it's coming from that way. You know what? I'm done spectating. It's time to go hands-on. All right, so now I know what a pair of jeans feel like in a washing machine. That was intense, but not gonna lie, it was pretty fun. Not at all. So right now I'm at Youngji University, and as you can tell, the festivities are starting up. The sun is going down, so you know what that means? That's when the crazy comes out. So all the food here is made by students, and it's really not bad. It's actually quite tasty. Right now we're having some ororpyeon. It's pork that's been stir-fried in a very spicy, very sharp sauce, and it gets the palate going. It makes you want to eat more, it makes you want to drink more. All right, first of all, we gotta sear our meat. Gotta get it really brown, gotta get that flavor in there, so. All right, now it's time for our spices. We have cumin and gochugaru. Cumin is one of those indispensable spices. It's that secret ingredient in chili powder. That's what gives cumin. It gives it that nice spice to it. Next is our tomatoes. We're tossing all of our meat now and cover this thing with water.
right, so the last touch, we're gonna make a little bit of garnish for our chili dogs. It's just gonna be real simple. Red onion with chopped 청양고추. Then you're gonna want to let this go for 3, 4, maybe even 5 hours.
여기 라인이라는 게 있잖아요, 그죠? 라인이라는 게 있어, 그리고 제자리에도 볼 수 있어, 그죠? 그럼요. 안 밀어도 돼. 맨날 앞에 있어. 저 뒤에 있는 사람까지 앞에 있어.
I really liked it. No, it looks like you had a lot of fun there.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Actually, my voice was shot for a couple of days just because there was a lot of cheering going on.
It's noisy. There's a lot
yeah.
of music.
Background music.
Yeah, I mean, there's. I wouldn't have it any other way. I mean, it's that sort of environment where I think that you can really let off a little bit of steam and really enjoy yourself.
No, but I'm going to sound like a grandma saying this, but when I went to college, I think it was
then don't say
back
it.
when I was in
how
college,
many years ago?
right? Many years
2 years ago. 2 years ago.
Right. No, it was about makgeolli, rice wine, and dongdongju, very Korean traditional, food. But it seems like and you cannot imagine things like pizza or anything Western food on the streets on campus. But that's changing, I think.
I was really surprised. I mean, these events, they're huge. They have, a lot of these departments and the 동아리, like the clubs and the organizations, they've gotten, big corporate sponsors to back them. I was very surprised, like how well they kind of all came together and put on a very, big event. I mean, it was an event with a capital E. Yeah.
And those makeshift pubs that they had out there, and all these students from the different majors and what we call circles or clubs, college clubs, selling there and also promoting their clubs as well.
It's true, and you know what? The little chujum that the different departments and the clubs put together. I'm not being charitable when I'm saying that they were good. I was very surprised.
So they had cocktails and stuff too?
They had cocktails. They had, so over the past couple of years, those have been really popular. The little cocktails in the baggies, the ones that you can take on the go. I saw multiple stalls selling those, and then they also had their full-on bars as well. And then they had things that looked like little pocha as well. So they really pulled it off very well, and they were selling a ton of food as well. I was very surprised, just the sheer volume of food that they're producing.
So where is that oxtail chili dog? I'm not seeing one here.
In the tummies of a ton of happy students right now.
Well, not in our tummy. We need some.
Well, I mean, those oxtail chili dogs, they were something that I wanted to make for the students.
It's your interpretation. It's your recipe.
I love oxtail. I mean, it's probably one of those cuts that I think has like that sort of beefiness that you don't get in a lot of other cuts of beef. And then the sausages as well. Those were provided by Gavin Sausages. They're a local company. They've been in the country for about 10 years now, and they're all handmade. And so the two of them together, the sausage plus the oxtail chili, winning combination.
All right, well, sounds good. We're going to actually have you make one of those for us one of these days, hopefully.
Well, I mean, summer's coming up, so there's going to be a ton of cookouts. So,
so how did you like the experience?
I had a ton of fun. I mean, it just felt
it was a silly question.
It's just that vibrant youth and the energy.
Exactly. I mean,
you have to have fun in one of those places.
I mean, precisely. I mean, the thing is, like, I'm not. Okay, maybe I am, but it made me feel really young again, and in the best way possible.
Yeah. Yes, young.
All right.
Good. All right. Thank you, Matthew, for that.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you very much. And if you have if you don't have plans for the weekend this evening, you might want to try Gyeongbok Palace. They have extended their operating hours to 10 p.m., but they're limiting visitation to 40,000 per day, and you might have to, I would tell you to go online and make a reservation, except the reservations have been halted. It's filled up, so you have to get in there a little bit earlier.
All right, that brings us to the end of this edition of Korea Today.
And we'll see you back here on Monday at 7 a.m.
Enjoy your weekend.
Enjoy your weekend.
Bye-bye.